Hey guys, welcome. I'm Coach Glyle. I'm waiting for a few people to join. If you guys can just put your name in the chat just so I know who's here, I can mark that you attended. Thank you everybody for coming. I almost thought I was going to be speaking to an empty audience for a second. The live chat feature should be on like either the bottom panel of your screen or the side panel of your screen. And you can type your name so I know who's here. Perfect. I got Jenna. Hi, Jenna. Got 4 people on. Elizabeth, Jenna, Samantha. Okay. One more person I think is here, but I didn't get a message yet. Natasha. Hi, Natasha. All right, sweet. Another person just joined. Celeste. I don't know if they're from Discord, but. Oh, Jocelyn. There you go. Okay. Is that everybody? I think we're still waiting on George. Oh, no worries. I have a couple accounts like that. All right, guys, I think I'm just going to get started. First of all, welcome to the Built by G 30-Day Challenge. I'm super excited. Hi, Zainab. And I'm going to be basically giving you a lot of good nutrition advice in this first seminar. It's going to be very customized to you. If you're not comfortable like sharing your body weight, you don't have to. You can just listen to the numbers that I give. If I can get one volunteer down the line in the stream to give body weight so I can just set an example of how I would typically set calories, that would be awesome. But I'm not going to force anybody. I could just use my own body weight as an example. So I'm going to go ahead and start and talk about, like, first of all, what is everybody's goal? Because I know a majority of people in this challenge are looking for fat loss, but I do have one person that's going to have a baby. So that's definitely not going to be fat loss. And yeah, just go ahead and type. We're going to interact in the chat, make it a dialogue. Like, what are you guys looking to accomplish? Okay, lose fat. Any other votes for lose fat? Okay, increase muscle mass and a bit of fat loss. Okay. That'll also fall under the category of fat loss. Okay. Portion control. Okay, so it seems like some fat loss, mainly fat loss, and then some maintenance. Okay. Okay. So basically, we have 3 different phases when it comes to nutrition. One is going to be maintenance, which means basically if you've been weighing the same amount of weight for, like, I don't know, the past month, past 2 months or whatever, and you weigh yourself, let's say every day or 3 days a week, and you've been around the same, you are in what's called maintenance, which means basically what you're eating is exactly what your body is expending. Think about your body being an expense. The more muscle mass you have, the more expensive it is for your body to exist, which means your metabolism is faster than someone that doesn't have as much muscle mass, which is why you might hear people say that have more fat mass, I have a slow metabolism. Really, what it is they have less muscle mass on their frame. The more muscle mass you have, the more expensive it is for you to exist. and therefore you burn more calories just sitting here, fidgeting, talking, moving your hands. That will do a lot more than somebody that just has mainly fat mass on their body. So, first and foremost, to understand that is what you consume and what you burn. If they're a level playing field, your weight will stay the same. If you eat less and your body burns more, you're in what's called a calorie deficit. That's what you hear probably all over TikTok and Instagram is you need to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. I'm here to affirm that. Yes, that is true. Every client that I've worked with in the past 5 years that has lost weight successfully has been in a calorie deficit, meaning you have to figure out how to eat less than your body burns. And if you are somebody that is trying to gain some muscle, I recommend staying in maintenance because most people don't have all their variables perfectly dialed in to start going to a building phase. So I won't be covering that today because it doesn't apply to most of the population. I've maybe had 2 or 3 people do that in the past 5 years, and that's somebody that's been really drilled in with all the other variables. So we'll be mainly focusing on maintaining your weight. If you're pregnant, and then if you're or just wanting to just stay the same and just increase some muscle mass, but you're not necessarily concerned with the scale moving down, maintenance is a good place to start. You can see a lot of changes in your body, like your waist getting smaller, stuff like that. But in terms of seeing that drastic weight loss, like seeing, weight loss on a weekly basis, that would require a calorie deficit. So the first thing that we need to understand is how do you set your calories? So first thing you're going to do is you're going to think about your calories as a range. So you're going to take your body weight and you're going to multiply it by 10 to 12 if you are seeking fat loss. So you might want to, I'm going to repeat that one more time so people can write that down. If you are trying to look for fat loss, you want to multiply your body weight by 10 to 12. This is not going to be a hard number. What you're going to do is you're going to eat at that number, and I will tell you exactly how. And I'm going to have you monitor yourself by weighing yourself every morning in the same condition. So after you pee, go to the bathroom, whatever, weigh yourself in the same way every single morning and start observing the trend. So, for example, if I'm 150 pounds, right, and I multiply by 10, I get 1500. And if I multiply by 12, I get 1800. So, if I aim for a range of between 1500 to 1800, I will lose body fat because I'm in a calorie deficit. Now, let's say I eat at 1800 for 2 weeks and the scale is not dropping, right? I can go down to 17 or 16 and find that range in that number. Depending on how active you are, that number might be lower or higher. How do you determine activity? Look at your job, your occupation. Are you running around with kids all day? Are you getting, if you have an Apple Watch, are you getting 7,000 to 10,000 steps on a daily basis? That will also determine where in that range you are. The more active you are, you're probably going to be multiplying by 12. The less active you are, you're probably going to be multiplying more by 10. So also, the more experience you have, you're probably going to be multiplying by 12 because if it's your first time tracking or doing any sort of program, you're new to portion control, you don't understand those things. So you want to aim for the safer side because you're probably, hard truth, eating more than you think if your weight is staying the same. So multiplying by 10 to 12. Does everybody understand how that works? I know that's pretty straightforward. I wanted to make it as easy as possible. The two most important targets are going to be your protein and your calories. Those are like king when it comes to fat loss. Why? Protein is going to keep you really full. It's going to keep you super satiated. It's going to make it easy for you to stick to your calories. If you're just eating carbs all day to hit your calories, your insulin's going to be you're never going to feel full and you're going to feel snacky and you're going to start pecking at your partner's plate, your husband's plate, your kid's plate, your friend's plate, and you're going to be pecking, snacking. Going to go grab some almonds on the way through to the kitchen. You're going to go grab some chips in the pantry, in the middle of, right before you go to work, right after you come home from work. That's a huge one. I see a lot of clients do that. That 100 calories there, that, sauce that you put on there, the creamer that you glug in your coffee, 3 tablespoons, boom, that's 135 calories. So you have to be mindful and catch those behaviors. And I'll teach you a bunch of tips on how to do that as well towards the end. You guys will even get a guide for fast food like Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, and stuff like that to help you know what to order. So for protein targets, we're still talking to fat loss and maintenance. If you are on the obese side, you want to aim for the lower end of the protein target. If you are somebody that's trying to lose like 30 plus pounds, right? So that's going to be more of the lower side. If you're somebody that's on the leaner side or is trying to lose like 10 pounds, trying to lose have some fat loss, like look toned or whatever people say, higher end of that protein target. Now, it doesn't hurt you if you have more protein in your diet. It's always going to work in your benefit to be as satiated as possible to prevent the pecking behaviors and get that hack to get your stomach to like calm down and for you not to be constantly snacking. That range is zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.7 grams per pound of body weight. So if I'm 150 pounds, 0.5, and I multiply that by my weight, 150, the lower end is 75 grams of protein. Protein will do that. And protein will do that. If you eat 0.7 to 0.8 grams per pound of body weight and you will see how much of a difference you feel in craving sweets. All my online clients and in-person clients say when I increase their protein, they're like, my cravings have gone down significantly the first like 8 weeks working with you. So increase your protein content. And I will also give you guys a grocery list too. So 0.5 lower end, 1 gram per pound higher end. So 150 grams if you're 150 pounds, 75 gram on the very lower end. So 75 to 150. That's a really big range. I know. But the reason I give you that big range is because I don't want you to get caught up in the details and the nuance of like what sorry, I got distracted. I don't want you to get caught up in the details of nuance of being an exact number. It's I just want you to establish consistency. So if you can establish consistency with 80 grams or 90 grams, great. Then stay there. And if you start getting better at it and you can go 100, 150, great, go there. But I want you to establish consistency, which is why I'm giving you a large range. This applies for people, whether you're trying to increase muscle mass, whether you're trying to lose fat, it doesn't matter. This range is the same. Does everybody understand where you should lie? Or how to do the math? Yes, yes. Perfect. So 0.5, 0.7, 0.81, whatever you can stay consistent with. And for, I'd say beginners, start on the 0.6, 0.5 range because it's very tough. Like it's tough, especially if you're not planning. But I will teach you how to plan, and that will never be a problem. Okay, so next thing we're going to talk about is eating out. I'm going to send some. How many of you guys eat out like during the week? It could be anything from a coffee to like grabbing something through a drive-through. Like if you had to count and tally how many times you do that a week, how many times a week do you do that? No judgment. I just want you guys to like see how much I can help you guys. Once. Someone's trying to get into the live. Let's see. Two. Okay, so you guys are typically eating at home. Eating out once a week, coffee daily. Okay. Where do you get your coffee? Starbucks? Twice a week. Okay. We can work with this. This is good. Like once or twice a week is good. If you guys are going out daily, that's fine. I just want to know how I can help you. Coffee beans, Starbucks. Okay. So I have Starbucks orders that I approve of, like cut wise, that I've already put like the top 3 or 4 orders that people typically order, and I've made them under 100 calories. If anybody wants access to that, just say that you want access to it in the chat and I'll send it to you. Okay. So if you're eating out, the one thing you want to focus on is looking for menu items that are steamed, grilled, roasted, or poached. Things that are fried, battered, or crispy are going to accrue calories. I'm sure you already know that. It's a no-brainer, but rarely do people actually follow that. Order sauces on the side. So if you're getting a salad, if you're getting, I don't know, like chicken and cream sauce with blah, 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 like gravy, order that on the side. Like any sort of like au jus gravy sauce that you go out, order on the side so you can control how much you put on it. Now, you'd be surprised how many times these entrees can really stop people from losing their fat loss, is because if they're doing that multiple times a week, it messes up their total budget for the rest of the week. So for example, if you look at like um, a typical entree from California Pizza Kitchen, or what is it called? Cheesecake Factory. I've looked at those menus and I've given people suggestions. Uh, those are typically 1,700 like on the good healthy side, and 2,400 for like the pasta dishes. So if you try to order good, you can probably get it down to like 15 or 1,200 by just removing the sauces alone and then having more lower calorie stuff throughout the day. So for example, if you know you're going to have a dinner, don't have that dinner and then also have like your bagel in the morning, cuz like bagel is like 230 240 calories. And then if you're having that Cheesecake Factory dinner, 1,300 1,500 calories, you're already at like 1,800 or 1,900. You're already at the upper threshold of where you should be. And again, that's just a guess. Like the cook is not weighing your stuff for you. They don't really care about your fat loss. They care about making you come back. So it's important for you to know how to modify your order. Same thing, just adjust your calorie goal. So if your calorie goal, after you do the formula, keep it within your calorie goal, subtract it from your calorie goal. Those are typically sort of accurate. They're not as inaccurate as restaurant. They do typically weigh them, but if you're going through like a prep company like Factor. Uh, so the next thing is to pregame with protein and fiber before you go out. A lot of my clients have seen really great success with this. When they go out, it's typically a social event. Like they are going with friends to catch up or something. They're celebrating something. And I never want to tell a client to like not celebrate or have a social life. I think it's important to be in part of these environments, but I think it's also important to prepare in advance. So if you know you're going to go out, don't go into a dinner hungry. Like that's just a no-brainer, because if you go in, you're going to eat with your eyes and not actually pay attention to your fullness cues and know, like, am I eating out of boredom? Am I eating out of politeness even? Like, if someone orders an appetizer, everybody has a piece. But if you do that, you're easily going upwards of 2,000 calories, and that's going to stall your fat loss. So you want to say, okay, if I'm going to eat out, I'm going to stick to my plate. I'm going to stick to double protein. I'm going to order double protein, and I'm going to cut my carb portion in half. So let's say I go out and I get steak, mashed potatoes, and broccolini. I'm going to get steak. If it's like 6, 8 ounces, great. Keep it there. If it's only 3, double it up. Mashed potatoes, cut it in half, put the other half aside, have it another day. Extra veggies and sauteed veggies on the side. So that way you're still taking part. You've lowered the calories significantly. You've ordered the gravy on the side. You've doubled up your protein, so you're going to be super full. And 5, you're still taking part. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. And you can apply it to literally any scenario everywhere you go. So yeah, does that make sense, guys? 0 calorie and 0 sugar drinks. Diet soda is your friend. It keeps you really full. Bubbly carbonated water, tonic water, seltzer water. Highly, highly recommend that. Chugging like a glass or two before you even eat. A lot of my clients go into a meal dehydrated and ravenous, because 1, they've been waiting all day to eat, and then 2, they also haven't drank like even 3 or 4 water bottles that day, and so they're dehydrated and they're starving, and so they easily eat 2,000 calories, and then they're frustrated because the scale isn't moving. And I'm like, okay, let's start with the strategy. Let's have you pregame, not in its conventional definition, but with protein and fiber and lots of hydration, and then go out and sit at that table and see how hungry you are. You will eat significantly less, if not like 40% less of what you would typically eat if you go unprepared. If you're on the go, have a protein shake before you go out, have a protein bar before you go out. And you can't like sit down and make a full meal, you can do that. Skip the bun. That's a very foolproof way. When you're cutting, your carbs are not as high because you're in a calorie deficit. Not because carbs are bad, but because you can't eat as much of every single category: carb, fat, and protein. So skip the bun. Take off the mayonnaise. Oh my God, I cannot emphasize that enough. Restaurants put 160 calories worth of mayonnaise on like every sandwich. I've seen it, and no mayo or no spread. Whoo! Can make an In-N-Out burger literally like under 500 calories. It's crazy. So much of it comes from that. So keep it simple. Take off the bacon, the honey mustard, the mayonnaise, cut your carb portion in half. I will also send a review of these tips as well. I know some of you guys are jotting down notes. Poppy is like 35 to 60 calories, I believe. Yeah. That's fine. I mean, you can account for it, but I always recommend 0 cal because I don't like drinking my calories. I like eating them because I feel more full, and it's very easy for me to just accrue calories fast. But if you're comparing it to like a full sugar soda that's like 210, you're winning. So take the poppy. So, okay. Does everybody understand how to do the restaurant stuff? I might also just like send it in the chat. Let me see. It won't let me. There's a character limit. Okay, that's fine. I'll send it in somewhere else. Sweet. Okay. Okay. And then in terms of activity, are you guys working out? How many times a week are you working out and what are you doing? And specifically, Sam, I know you are looking to maintain right now because you shouldn't be in a calorie deficit while you're pregnant. Your target will be 13 to 15 instead of 10 to 12. And that goes for anybody that's looking to not lose weight. 10 to 12 if you're trying to lose weight by body weight, 13 to 15 if you're looking to maintain. I know the calories might sound higher than you think, but trust me, it's 13 to 15. 13 on the lower end. Light walks 4 to 5 times a week and work with weights 3 times a week. 1 day for stairs. 2 times a week lifting. Okay, so everyone's working out. Some working out, not working out. Some working out 2 to 3 times a week. Okay. Let me say this. Go on the lower calorie end and find something you can stay consistent with. So like it doesn't have to be the gym. It doesn't People were afraid of joining this challenge because they thought I was going to give them some like intense workouts. I'm going to explain something about fat loss. Workouts are like this piece of your fat loss. And everyone looks at me like I'm speaking a different language when I say that. But I've had clients that I've worked with, even moms, like I had a mom that I work with as an example. I'm not going to name who she is, but she was postpartum and she had to get like a gallbladder or something. And she was afraid because she couldn't gym and they gave her surgical restrictions post op. And she lost 10 pounds in a month, focusing solely on nutrition. She was eating Chick-fil-A like 4 times a week because nutrition drives all like 90 to 80% of fat loss. And if your nutrition is not on point, you won't lose weight. I promise you, no matter what you do, you could do lifting cardio this many times a week, like it will not change. If you are not burning more than you are putting in your mouth, you will not lose weight. And I promise you that. Okay, so if you guys, I would say if you do not work out currently, we'll start there. Start with moving 30 minutes in some capacity daily. So if that means you eat breakfast and you go for like if you have stairs at your house, pace up and down like 2-3 times, that can accrue like a good, 300 400 steps from just doing that. 10 minutes of that after you eat your meal. Doesn't have to be fast. It could be like literally just like I call them house paces for like I have clients that can't leave the house or they work remotely. I'm like just literally pace around the house. Like if you sit on the couch and you're on your phone, go on your phone and walk around the house. Like just like walk. If you have like a patio, walk it. If you have a perimeter, walk it. If you're in your house, go from the bathroom to the living room like a few times and text and walk. If you're scrolling in the morning for like 10 minutes when you're waking up, scroll and walk. Like I swear, you can get so many steps from doing that. And that will typically drive most of your fat loss even more than your workout because what you're doing 23 hours of the day is way more important than what you're doing that 1 hour of the day. So we're not even going to go into that till we start seeing results with our nutrition because I find people are a lot more successful when they focus on one first. So move in some capacity. If you like to run, run. If you're lifting and you enjoy it and that takes the thinking out of it and you have a trainer, cool. If you want to go on the Stairmaster and the cardio and not think about lifting weights, fine. If you do want to start lifting weights, like we can get into that in the next live stream of like what exercises you can start with that are like pretty beginner friendly. But I think right now focusing on nutrition is going to be a huge handful. I've also, I wish I could share my screen here, but I can't, but I'll send everybody this file. Um, I've made a little protein cheat sheet for you guys. We don't have any vegans in here, do we? What if we do? We'll see. I have worked with vegans. Yes. I don't think we have any vegans, not that I know of. Anyways, I put 17 items in this protein cheat sheet. I'll read some off to you. Oikos Pro yogurt, 1 cup is 20 grams of protein. Kirkland brownie protein bar, 21 grams of protein. Chicken thighs, 5 ounces raw, 172 calories, and 28 grams of protein. So what you want to do is basically take this list and then mix and match the stuff that are accessible to you, are easy for you to prepare, and play math to hit your total number. So let's say my total protein is like 75 grams of protein. I'm like aiming for the lower end. I'm a complete beginner. I don't work out. I'm not like anything. I'm going to go on this list and I'm going to be like, okay, 99 1 ground turkey, 5 ounces raw is 32 grams of protein. I'm going to take 75, subtract 32. Now I have 43 grams of protein left. If I have a protein shake, the Costco ones are like 30. So it's going to give me only 13 grams of protein left. And I can hit 13 grams of protein with like a beef jerky stick from Jack Links. They have pepper jerky sticks that are 20 grams of protein, 15 grams of protein. So if I take all that, boom, I'm at 75 grams of protein. And if I buy enough in the beginning of the week, I have enough for the rest of the week. Now, the types of protein that you pick will determine how full you stay. Like egg whites will make you more full. Chicken breast will keep you more full. If you go more for like the red meat side, you're going to be more hungry more often. Chicken and white fish are going to be your most satiating and filling proteins. But again, all of this is going to be sent to you, the list. So it makes your life a lot easier. You don't have to think about it. How many of you guys have experience tracking your food? That's a really big question. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Wow. Okay. A lot of people. Do you guys use MyFitnessPal, MacroFat? Like, what do you guys use to track your food? Yes, Sandra, I will be posting that. Okay. Yes, MyFitnessPal. So, FitnessPal. Okay. So I recommend you guys download MyFitnessPal because I think if you are somebody that's really trying to get this serious, I do recommend that you do that. If you don't, honestly, best case scenario, you'll be the same weight by the end of this month. Just gonna be really honest here. Because MyFitnessPal really does help quantify and put a hard stop to like how much you're eating. And if your goal is to lose weight on like a weekly basis, you want to, it's going to take a couple weeks for you to get your ropes down anyways, but like you will see changes. So for MyFitnessPal, I can send you guys a tutorial on like how to track if you want a quick refresher. But here's the mistake that I'll tell you that a lot of people make. One thing is that I'll tell you right now, I actually have it in my nutrition guide that I send my clients to. Top mistakes that they make when they're tracking for the first time. Give me 1 second. Here we go. I literally have a tracking error checklist. 1, eyeballing your portions. 2, making complicated Pinterest meal prep recipes with too many ingredients. 3, not weighing liquid calories, olive oil, mayo, butter, and coffee creamer. The biggest culprits of people stopping their fat loss is they'll be like, I had chicken breast and I'm like, "Okay, cool." They're like, "I'm not losing weight. I don't know why." I'm like, "Okay, what do you dip it in?" They're like, "Well, I just put a little bit of ranch." I'm like, "Let's see your serving size of ranch." "Oh, you have 3 servings of ranch?" Because a serving of ranch is like this much. And they're having 3 servings, which is like almost 300 or 400 calories. Boom, they're out of a deficit now. So what I will say, what will help you, get low calorie alternatives. If you are a person that typically has mayonnaise, switch to non-fat Greek yogurt. Trust me on this. I've had clients do it with a Greek yogurt. What is it called? Tuna salad, chicken salad. It's just like a binder. It like makes it taste like wet, like the way mayonnaise does, and it slashes the calories. Mustard has no calories. Ketchup, switch to zero sugar ketchup. If you do ranch, go and get the G Hughes, and I'll type it in here. They have the most delicious barbecue sauces, like the sweet and spicy. It's 10 calories. Typical barbecue sauce is like 80 to 100 calories. So think about all these little swaps that you can make in your daily routine that add up. If you can save 50 calories 3 times a day or even 60 to 70, you're saving 200 calories daily, and across the week, you're saving 1400 calories. That's a lot. You're halfway there to losing a pound a week. Um, Using pre-measured containers like cup measurements or tablespoon measurements, they're often inaccurate. This is a big, big culprit. I see people measuring peanut butter and there's like, I had a serving. Their serving looks like 1.5 because it's a heaping serving on the tablespoon. So just measure out your peanut butter, measure out your butter, measure out your oil. Everyone always starts with saying, like, no, it's annoying to have to weigh it. But trust me when I say, like, it'll be so much more annoying when you don't see the scale move after all this work you're putting in. Just put it on the scale and scoop it out and see how much you're actually putting in, because you'll be surprised how much you actually are using. And it's better for you. Like, you're going to see results. Leaving out nibbles. Sprinkle a little bit of cheese on your chicken bowl and you're like, that little sprinkle is like 90 calories. Waiting till the end of the day to track your food. You will forget everything you ate. You will not remember that. I don't even remember that. Underestimating meals out. Average calorie when you eat out, 1,200 calories plus. Just assume that. In my MyFitnessPal tutorial, they'll talk about the quick add feature. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry. 1,200 calories plus, you could just subtract it from your day when you know you're going to eat out. And you guys can help each other in the group chat to modify the order. Like, hey guys, look at this menu. You guys can all be a support system to each other. How do I like lower the calories of this item? And that's why the group chat is there to help you. Um, Eating out or ordering takeout often, 3+ times per week. Lots of inaccuracies. Restaurant guide is for emergencies and won't always fit in on a daily basis, but you will get one. Um, Not recording 100% of your splurge meals. So a lot of people will do this when they start. They'll feel kind of bad when they eat something that they shouldn't be eating, even though I don't, I'm not going to judge you, but they won't record it. So you'll see their logs Monday through Friday, boom, they'll record Saturday through Sunday. They're not tracking, or Friday through Sunday, they don't track because they're like, it's annoying, or I didn't eat so good. I don't want to show you. And then I find out, like, I start doing the math and see like at what rate they're losing weight. And I kind of put 2 and 2 together. Like, that person's easily slamming 2,200 on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like, there's no way their weight would be going down at the rate that it is if they're not doing that. And then once I tell them, and then we backtrack and we count, we're like, all right, what did you eat? Let's talk about it. We start putting it in. It's like, oh, okay, I was eating 2,500 on 3 days and I was eating 17 the rest of the week. So me eating that Friday through Sunday basically canceled out the beginning of the week. You have to understand, in order to be a deficit, it's not about being on a deficit every day. It's about being in a deficit on average. That's very important. If you're not losing weight on average, you're not in a deficit. You won't lose weight every day and every week. I want to make that very clear. You will have weeks where you won't lose weight. You will have weeks where you get your period and the scale will go up 2-3 pounds. That didn't mean you gain fat. But what it does mean is that on average, the trend line should be down when you're putting it in MyFitnessPal. If that trend line is going up, or it's just and it's just like this, you're not losing body weight. If it's 30 to 60 days of just this, you're not in fat loss. And then excluding negligible items, taste testing while you cook. You have some sauce, you just like lick it off your finger. Misreading labels of serving sizes. Um, the serving sizes will say 1 cup, Honey Nut Cheerios, like 56 grams or something. Weigh out 56 grams. Stuff like that. It's easy to eat 2, 3 servings. And then excluding negligible items like if you sip someone's drink or you nibble off a piece of cake, you grab some coffee cake on your way, stuff like that. Those are really the main culprits that stop you from losing the weight that you want. And you have to be aware of it. You won't be perfect, but once you know what to look for, you'll catch yourself doing it like, oh, Lyle, I just caught myself doing this. And then my clients will tell me. So like you'll start to notice your behaviors and you'll get better at it. So yeah, I will be sending all of that information plus Chick-fil-A, Panda Express, and Chipotle, and then a grocery protein idea list with different ounces in the beginning. If you're a person that you know you're going to struggle to hit your protein, guys, just cook 2 pounds of meat in the beginning of the week. It will save you so much headache. Excuse me. Like if you do a pound of chicken in the beginning of the week, you have like 100 grams of protein right there. Throw the chicken on your salad, throw the chicken on your rice, throw the chicken on, a wrap. Boom. You don't have to worry about cooking during the week or thawing it in time or all that. Just on Sunday, just literally grab 93.7 ground beef, 96.4 ground beef when you go to the store today. Grab a pound of chicken breast, cook it in bulk. Just cook it normal, plain, with just garlic, salt, pepper. Have it in the fridge for 3-4 days. And you can just use that. That way you don't have to think about it. And you know exactly how much you had in there, a pound. Spread it across 4 days. You've had 4 ounces every day. Does this make things easier for you guys? Are you guys feeling overwhelmed? Any questions? I'm going to take questions now and then we'll wrap up the live and send some summary notes from this live. And next week we'll dive more into the specifics. I might even pull one of you guys as an example and help critique your logs. No questions? Everybody's a pro? So that's going to be what you're going to multiply by your body weight if you're trying to lose body fat. 12 on the higher end if you're much more active and you have a lot of experience tracking. 10 if you're you don't have a lot of experience tracking and you're pretty sedentary. But the goal is to get you moving in some capacity 30 minutes every day, and we will be talking in the chat about that. It could literally be walking after a meal, any of that. Any other questions, guys? You can talk about your specific numbers if you'd like to now. If you want to talk about like, hey, I'm this weight or this is what I'm struggling to calculate, I can help you. Depends on your weight. So depending on your weight, 0.5 to 1 gram per pound of okay, let me do that math for you. And then so 84 grams to 168 grams. I'd probably aim for like 100 for you to start. The higher the better. I mean, it will just keep you more full. It'll really make it easier for you to stick to it. So if you can do like a medium range would be like 100, 117, and then the lower end would be like 80s, 90s. Any other questions? Samantha, Jocelyn. I think George is on here too. Hamza, Jenna, Zainab, if she's still here. About active calories. Sure. What's your question? Are you referring to like a calorie deficit, or are you referring to like Apple Watch? Jenna, are you still here? Take a picture of the live. So your activity levels are already accounted for with the multiplier of 10 to 12. So are you looking to cut? I think you said you are looking to cut. So yeah, for your Apple Watch, you will get stuff that say like, okay, active calories or like I don't know, I don't have an Apple Watch, but I've seen it say stuff like active calories, total calories. You are not going to use those as part of your thing. So the 10 to 12 multiplier already accounts for that. So if you're on the more active end, let's say you're working out like 3, 4 times a week, like for an hour, you can give yourself the 12 multiplier by your body weight. We don't use Apple Watch calorie burned as any measure of anything significant. One, they're very off. And two, we're not looking at creating fat loss through exercise. That's something that I mentioned in the beginning of the live. And I know that's something that will come up pretty often. So it's totally important. It's like totally, what you may call it, like it's a very common question. Like people get confused by that because your watch will tell you like you burned this amount of calories, and so you'll think like, do I have to eat it back? Like no, no, no. Like your calories already accounted for that activity. So don't worry about like looking at your Apple Watch to guide you on your calorie intake or any of that, because your watch doesn't know how much you're moving. Your watch doesn't know how much protein you're intaking or any of that. Like it doesn't know your dieting history. Um, so yeah, uh, you're just going to use the multiplier of 10 to 12. So whatever your weight is, if you're a much more active person, multiply by 12. And if you're not as active, multiply by 10. And it's like, don't think too much into it. Like if you're working out 3 to 4 times a week, go for the 12 multiplier. If you're like 2 times a week, multiply by 11. If you're not working out at all, multiply by 10. So don't think too deeply into 10 or 12. Like as long as you aim for that range, you weighing yourself every day will give you more of an answer than your Apple Watch, if that makes sense. Like if you weigh yourself every day for like 14 to 20 days and you're incrementally losing like half a pound a week, you're in a calorie deficit. So just stay where you are. And then, if you stall, that's a different story, but that's not going to be happening for like a while, like a while. Does that make sense? I hope that didn't confuse you more. Oh, I'm sorry. Um, I weigh 146. Increasing my protein intake while also being in a calorie deficit will help maintain the muscle while losing body fat. Yes. So I was about to call you Celeste. Jocelyn, aim for the higher end, zero point 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Um, because you are in a calorie deficit. So, and because you're also strength training, you want to keep that protein on the higher end. And then, yeah, you can be in a calorie deficit, but if you are training, keep it on the higher end of 12 multiplied by your body weight. And if you are not training, you can keep it on the lower end. But if you don't have a lot of fat you want to lose, like if you're fine staying at 146, you can also just be in 13 to 15. But I would, if you're being in maintenance, I want you training like honestly 3 to 5 times a week, like strength training 3 to 5 times a week. But if you can't stay consistent with it, like just go for the lower end, like 12 by 13 by your body weight instead of 10. Like you don't have to go like that low. But again, as I said, guys, like these are ranges. So as long as you aim for within that range, at the end of the week, you'll have an average if you're tracking your food. And so when you track your food, MyFitnessPal has a feature where it will let you get your weekly average, which means what you basically eat on average, calorie wise. And then based on you weighing yourself every day, you'll get an idea. So like somebody could eat at by 12 and they could be losing no weight for 2 weeks. And then that way we know from the data, you're not really losing weight, right? If your pants aren't getting looser, the scale isn't moving for like 2 3 weeks, you're saying you're in a deficit. You're probably not in a deficit, right? Your body needs somewhere to cut the calories from. So you have to be patient and weigh yourself and maybe take pictures. If you have a measuring tape, measure yourself. Women tend to lose body fat in their neck and their chest when they're cutting. Men, waistline and arms. And so you can kind of get an idea of like, okay, am I dropping a bit, like even half an inch? That's a deficit. Okay. So it's not going to be something super drastic, but you will notice changes. Um, Jenna asked, I was wondering, focus more about what you eat than anything else. Not what you, well, yes, what you eat, but how much you eat. Numerical quantity of how much you eat. Yeah. So if you're staying within that target and the scale's moving in the direction that you want it to, cool. Good. You're on the right track. Keep up the good work. Don't slash your calories more. Don't go below 10. This is really key. Do not go below 10 by body weight. You will not stick to it and you will be starving and super hungry and cranky. And then, yeah, if you guys can drink a lot of water and high protein, honestly, a lot of these issues solve themselves. So, like, people will worry, like, oh, how much carbs do I eat? How many grams? Like, that doesn't matter. If you hit your protein and you're at your calorie threshold and you're not over it, you will eat less carbs. You will eat less sweets. Like, I promise you. If you eat that first, those issues will resolve themselves with enough time. When your body adjusts to feeling that satiation from like protein and stuff, you won't feel the need to be snacky. You won't feel the need to have to control your carb intake because your protein will act as an insurance to control your carb intake anyways. If I sit and I slam 6 ounces of some lean ground beef or like 8 ounces of chicken before I eat the rest of my plate, you will eat a lot less naturally. Does that make sense? But if I start with like 3 sides of like mashed potatoes, macaroni and cheese, white rice, and then I eat my chicken last and I'm barely eating any, like, yeah, of course you're going to overeat. So switch the order of how you eat. Does that make sense, Jenna? Yes, yes. 10 to 12 range is for caloric intake for people that are wanting to cut. No pregnant women. We need to maintain our body weight so the baby can grow. Also, if I'm talking too fast, please tell me because I talk fast when I get excited. Okay. Yeah, so how I suggest you guys set up your plate, definitely protein and fiber, like blueberries, raspberries, stuff like that. Half of your body weight in ounces to start. So if you're 150 pounds, I'm just going to keep using myself as an example. At least 75 ounces, which would be the Costco size water bottles. It's like 5 water bottles a day, at least. If you have a very active job, like, I have clients that work in construction or like, they're sweating a lot. They have a very high labor job. I aim for like the higher end, like 0.6, 0.7. Perfect. Sweet. I think there's sort of a delay with the messages. I think I get your guys' messages a little bit late, huh? Yes, of course. Guys, I really want to say, yeah, Sam, for water intake. Yes. So you guys should just go to the store and literally pick up chicken breast, lean ground beef, shrimp, white fish, like pick up all those things and have them in your freezer. So you know what to throw into your meals to hit that protein goal. Hit your protein goal first and foremost. Like that will solve so many issues. Um, yeah, so if anybody else has any questions, please let me know. Sure, perfect. Yeah, and just guys, so like one thing before I hop off is make sure that you guys use a Discord to hold each other accountable. That's going to be really big. I'll be popping in there answering some questions here and there. Just message in the chat. You don't need to message me directly. And maybe someone might even answer your question. I know one of my client's sisters is in here, so I know she knows quite a bit too. So a lot of you guys might be helping each other, but yeah, we will definitely use a chat to hold if you want to send your meal in, if you want to send like a menu that you're going to go eat out, and then people in the chat can chime in and say, hey, remove this, remove that, and help each other kind of reduce the overall calorie intake. And then I can give you a calorie estimate of whatever you're eating. Just snap some pictures. If you're struggling using my Fitness Pal features and someone has more experience than you, like help them out. The more we make this a collaborative effort and less like guesswork and like stressful for people, the easier it's going to be for you guys to see results. Um, yes. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for joining the live. I will be joining next week. We'll probably vote on a time in the Discord just so everybody can attend. The more people can attend, the better. And we'll dive more deep into this to help you guys continue seeing results. So for now, hit your protein targets, hit your calorie targets. Make sure that you weigh yourself every single day. If you want to add progress pictures in your own phone and also take tape measurements, you can do that as a extra credit for yourself. um, and yeah, so I'll get the grocery list and everything set up in the chat. I know some of you guys are probably meal prepping or shopping today, going to Costco, so you'll know what to pick up. Just know, don't be afraid, guys, of the rotisserie chicken or like the pre-made chicken bites, stuff like that, like grilled chicken patties, the microwavable stuff. If that makes your life easier and you'd rather do that than cook, don't be afraid to shy away from those options because those will help keep you consistent. I believe in you guys. I know you can do it. These goals and these number targets are very, very doable, and they're like that on purpose because I'm trying to establish consistency. So, again, thank you so much, guys, for joining wherever you are, and I'm excited to see you guys next week. We'll be on a live. Bye, everybody.